old-timey woodworker's back saws are for joinery, but when fast cutting and dimensioning of stock needs doing, he turns to his panel saw. Technically, the term panel saw refers to just short hand saws, like under 20 inches. But I have a hard enough time remembering all the classifications from the back saws, and I think hand saw is just too general a term, so I call any saw with the back a panel saw. I'm just nutty that way. When I was a kid, there was only one of these saws in the garage, and this is it. My great-grandfather painted everything blue. I did everything with this saw. I didn't know at the time if it was rip or crosscut because I didn't know there was a difference. And if you'd asked me how many points per inch, I'd have thrown it down on the floor and ran away because that sounds like crazy commie talk. But the fact is, teeth, shape, and count are everything when it comes to panel saws. And an old-timey woodworker likes to have a good selection on hand so he has the right saw for the job. Now you already know the difference between crosscut and rip teeth. So let's consider points per inch. A good rule of thumb for rip saws is to have 4 to 8 teeth inside the wood during any cut. That means a 1-inch board is best cut with a saw with 4 to 8 points per inch. A 3/4 inch board is best with a 6 to 10 points per inch saw, and a 1/2 inch board with 8 to 12 points per inch. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that you need a different saw for every board. That can get a little expensive. An 8 points per inch blade fits into all these thicknesses. So for many rip cuts, that's a good general purpose saw. Of course, if you use a lot of thin stock, you may want to also pick up a 12-point saw, and if you want to rip thicker stock fast, consider a 4-point saw. When it comes to crosscut saws, the rules change a bit because cutting across the fibers can cause a lot of tear up. So you want a less aggressive cut. The rule of thumb here is 6 to 10 teeth within the wood during the cut. That means 6 to 10 points per inch for a 1-inch board, 8 to 12 for a 3/4 inch board, and 10 to 14 for a 1/2 inch board. If you want a good all-purpose saw, go with the 10 points per inch because it fits in all the categories. For finer work or a lot of thin stock, it pays to add a 14-point saw to your set, and for rough cross-cutting without messing around, it's good to pick up a 6-tooth saw. The bottom line is you can get away with just 2 panel saws, but it's good to have 6 or even more. And since saws are a dime a dozen at yard sales and flea markets, it won't be long until you have way more than you'll ever use.